All right, diving in today, we're looking at one of Bhagat Singh's most powerful pieces of writing. His essay, Why I Am an Atheist, really makes you think. Imagine you're imprisoned,
Hmm.
facing, your own mortality, and yet still having that intellectual fire to challenge the very idea of God. That was Bhagat Singh.
It really is a testament to his spirit. I mean, think about it. The essay was originally written in Punjabi. Talk about adding another layer to that defiance.
Yeah, powerful stuff. It's almost as if he was saying, even in these chains, my mind is free.
Absolutely.
So the essay starts with Singh, reflecting on his early doubts about God. Even as a young boy, he wasn't afraid to question, what everyone else seemed to just accept.
Oh, absolutely. And he talks about, his family, how they weren't exactly thrilled with his inquiries. It's fascinating, though, right? His path toward atheism wasn't this sudden thing, this rebellion. It was more like a gradual evolution, all rooted in reason.
And that really comes through in his writing. It's not just like, I don't believe. It's he dismantles the arguments for belief with incredible precision.
Yeah.
Like he even tackles the idea that fear of God should be like the basis of faith.
Oh, he really dismantles it quite effectively. Argues that believing just because you're afraid of, divine punishment, well, that's a pretty hollow foundation for faith. It's like he even compares it to loving someone out of fear. Pretty powerful analogy.
It is. It makes you think about like the nature of genuine belief.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And this leads into, I think, one of the most compelling parts of the essay. It Singh's struggle with the problem of suffering. This age-old question, right?
Yeah.
Why would a benevolent God allow so much pain and injustice?
It's a question that really gets to the core of so many belief systems. And Singh doesn't shy away from it. He uses incredibly vivid imagery to illustrate his point. Like when he talks about children dying, before they can even experience, the good things in life, the joys of life.
Heartbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
But it forces you to confront those harsh realities, right, of existence.
Yeah.
For Singh, suffering wasn't some like abstract concept. It was tangible, a visceral experience. And for him, that just contradicted the idea of a loving, all-powerful God.
Right.
And he takes this further, weaving his atheism into this larger framework of social change.
Yeah.
He argues that atheism is not just a personal belief, it's a tool.
Yeah.
A tool for progress.
Yeah.
A catalyst.
Yeah.
For a more just and equitable world.
Yeah.
And that's where things get really interesting. I mean, how did he see that connection playing out in a practical sense?
Well, she believed that questioning religious authority was just one piece of a much larger puzzle. He saw dogma and blind obedience as tools, often used to justify oppression. And by embracing critical thinking and questioning, all forms of authority, he argued that people could, break free from those chains and create a better world for themselves and for future generations.
So for Singh, atheism wasn't just about the absence of God. It was about, the presence of human agency and the responsibility that comes with that.
Exactly.
It's about questioning,
Yeah.
challenging, and ultimately shaping a world that reflects our highest values.
Precisely. It's about understanding that we have the power and the obligation to make the world a better place, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. And it's remarkable. Singh, he wasn't just, talking about the stuff. He lived it. He was a revolutionary. Fighting for India's independence, literally put his life on the line for his beliefs.
Yeah. Adds up a whole other dimension to his words, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He wasn't just, some armchair philosopher. He was out there in the world trying to shape things. Makes you wonder, though, Singh was writing almost a century ago. How do you think his views on, atheism and social justice, how would they resonate today?
It's a really good question. The world has, changed a lot, right, since Singh's time. But I think his core message about reason, about compassion, in the face of injustice, it's still incredibly relevant. Maybe even more so now.
Yeah, I think I see that.
Yeah.
Are constantly bombarded with information, so many voices, ideologies, all, competing for our attention.
Yeah.
Hard to sift through it all sometimes.
Right, and that's where Singh's emphasis on critical thinking, I think, becomes so important. He wants us to question everything, not just accept things, at face value. That's a skill, honestly. It's essential today with all the misinformation, manipulation. It's everywhere.
It's almost like he's giving us this toolkit, right?
Yeah.
For navigating the complexities of the modern world. So,
Yeah.
Don't just believe what you're told. Think for yourself. Look at the evidence and let compassion be your guide.
Yeah, perfectly put. And it's not just about, individual enlightenment. Like Singh, he saw a link between atheism and the pursuit of social justice. He believed that questioning religious authority, that was a necessary step in challenging all forms of oppression.
We see that today, don't we, in movements that advocate for equality, for
Mhm.
human rights,
Yeah.
for, a more just and equitable world.
Absolutely. I mean, these movements, they often draw inspiration from thinkers like Singh, people who dared to challenge the status quo and fight for a better future. It's a good reminder, I think. Progress, it requires us to question not just, our own beliefs,
Mhm.
but the systems and structures that shape our world.
It's challenging work,
Okay.
but essential. If we want to create a world that truly reflects our values, it's about recognizing that, we're all in this together and that we have a responsibility to create a world that's more just, more compassionate
Yeah.
for everyone.
And it's about understanding that this work, it's never done, right? It's this process of learning and questioning and trying to do better. And Singh's essay, I think, is this powerful reminder that our beliefs, they have consequences. They shape how we see the world and how we act in it.
So for our listener, what would you say is the most important takeaway from Singh's perspective? What's the one thing that they should carry with them after this deep dive?
Don't be afraid to question. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. Don't be afraid to think for yourself. And above all, let compassion and a desire for justice guide your actions. I think that's a true legacy of Bhagat Singh.
Really is inspiring, isn't it? How Singh's ideas, they still resonate today, almost a century later. It's like he's still out there, sparking conversations, challenging us to think critically about the world.
He was a visionary, and his work, it continues to inspire all over the world. One of the most powerful takeaways from his essay, I think, is that emphasis on personal responsibility. He believed we all have a duty to engage with these big questions, not shy away from the complexities of life, but to embrace them.
And not just think about them, but act.
Yeah.
Actually work towards creating the kind of world we want to see.
Exactly. It's about understanding that our beliefs, they're not just these abstract things, right? They have real world implications. They shape our actions, how we interact with others, and ultimately the kind of society we create.
So it's not enough to just say, I believe in this or I don't believe in that. It's about taking those beliefs and putting them into action, making a difference in the world.
Exactly. And that can look like so many things: activism, community involvement, or even just, having those thoughtful, respectful conversations with people who hold different views.
It's about recognizing that we're all in this together and we have a responsibility to create a world that's, well, more just, more equitable, more compassionate for everyone.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it, and a message that's especially relevant today, don't you think? With all the challenges we're facing, we have the power to make a difference, shape our own destiny, create a future that reflects our highest ideals.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've covered a lot today, and I hope our listener has gained some valuable insight into the life and work of Bhagat Singh. His essay, Why I Am an Atheist, it's a powerful testament to critical thinking, the importance of social justice, and the legacy of a man who dared to challenge the status quo.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you. And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the mind of Bhagat Singh. May his words continue to inspire you, to question, to challenge, and to strive for a better world.